today I am starving. It's dinner time, so I am making some dinner. I'm gonna be making a vegetarian zucchini pasta. If you don't have a spiralizer yet, you need to get one. I love making zucchini pasta for dinner. I've almost grown to like it more than an actual pasta, which I know sounds crazy, but it is so good. The sauce I'm using today is actually just a Hunt's tomato sauce. I'm gonna be adding just a few things to it to make it better. Usually I prefer just making it from a tomato base, but I'm kind of running low on time today, so that's what we're gonna be using. It's also going to have spinach, some chopped onion, and some little tomatoes. These are actually candi-to tomatoes, my favorite tomatoes. Just to throw in at the start, I'm gonna be using some olive oil, but if you would rather use coconut oil, that's also completely fine, and absolutely anything else you'd want to add to this recipe works too. But yeah, this is how it's gonna go.
Let me apologize right now because the rest of the audio in this video is done on my iPhone. We don't need to talk about it, it's fine, I'm over it. Start off by chopping up an onion. I am basically known for being really bad at evenly cutting things up. See, here I go, off to a good start. And things are starting to go to the way. Oh, and she just goes for it and cuts it up completely randomly. That's basically my approach to cutting anything. When it comes to the tomatoes though, you can't get those wrong, just half them all and then chuck them over to the side. Last but not least, grab some spinach. I use about a cup and you can hold on to that until it comes time to make the sauce. Having a spiralizer has basically changed my life because before I was cutting it individually, like in strips, and as we have discussed previously, I'm not so good with cutting things up evenly. But now every single one of my noodles is completely even. Now, just a thought here. The spiralizer basically makes a bunch of extremely long separate noodles, so you're actually a lot better off if you take the zucchini out of the spiralizer a few times to make smaller pasta bits, but I wasn't that smart. So to start off cooking the sauce, you want to use a tablespoon of olive oil, and you can put it in the pan. And then I like to start by sauteing my onions, because those are the things that are going to take the longest to cook in my opinion. But if you prefer your onions to be a little bit less cooked, then you won't need to put them in early. So once those are in there, it's kind of a waiting game. Depends how cooked you like your onions. I like them almost at a saute before I put everything else in, so it takes a little bit before they're all ready. For this part of the video, I had my younger brother and sister helping me film, and they were extremely unimpressed with holding the camera in the exact same spot for about 8 minutes. So anytime the video shakes, well, you can blame them. You're going to want to stir the onions every once in a while. They'll stick to the bottom of the pan, but it's really not a huge deal though because we put in lots of oil at the start. Once the onions are how you like them, it's time to add the tomato sauce. As I said before, I just used the Hunt's tomato sauce. In retrospect, I wish I hadn't have. It made it a little bit salty almost, but that's okay. It's still a really good sauce and it's a good tomato base, especially when you add other things to it. It's a bit plain by itself, but as you can see, we're about to add a bunch of stuff. Once it's cooked down enough, you can go ahead and add your tomatoes. You don't really need to wait any time here before adding your spinach, so you can go ahead and add that too. When it comes to the spinach, don't worry about cutting it up at all because it's going to cook down so much. Seriously, I added a cup of spinach to this and I could barely tell it was even there in the end. When I'm cooking, I usually end up just adding a bunch of random stuff, so at this point I grabbed some garlic out of my fridge and added some of that. I didn't measure it out, I would assume it's about half a teaspoon. I kind of forgot that it was a roasted garlic tomato sauce I used to start with, so this did end up being a pretty garlicky dish. Luckily I like garlic, but if you don't, go ahead and just skip out on that step. To make a tomato sauce a little bit more savory, I like to add some balsamic vinegar, so I went ahead and added 1 tablespoon of that. It's time to take that right off the stove. In retrospect, I do wish I had let it cook down just a bit longer, but it was still totally fine in the end. I put that into a separate bowl, and now it's time to cook the pasta. I put in another tablespoon of olive oil to start and then put the zucchini in. As soon as the zucchini's in there, you're going to want to mix it around, make sure the olive oil is evenly spread out, and then you're good to let it sit for just a moment. I went ahead and added just a bit of onion salt here. It was probably about a teaspoon. I do wish it had been a little bit less salty in the end, so if I were you, I'd skip that step, but if you do like something with just that little kick of salt, then that would be what I would do. Now, cooking your zucchini pasta down depends on how you like it. I still like mine to be pretty crunchy, so I tend to cook mine for about 4 minutes. But there are people who cook their zucchini pasta up to 7 minutes. It's just a matter of whether you want a softer or a harder pasta in the end. It's not really like a true noodle in the sense it doesn't like go from soft to hard really slowly. The zucchini does cook very quickly. As soon as that's done, you can throw it into the bowl. It doesn't look so pretty sitting there, but I promise you it tastes good. Then you can go ahead and just pour your tomato sauce in. Final step, you can put all the feta cheese in. I love feta cheese and I loved adding it to this dish, but if you're not into it, go ahead and skip this step, or you can use Parmesan cheese or cheddar cheese, whatever kind of cheese works for you.
Okay, you guys, that's the whole video. It is so good. I'm sure that was the ugliest face I've ever made on camera, but it is just so good. If you want this to be vegan, just go ahead and don't throw in the feta cheese. But other than that, you have a completely vegan meal. And don't forget your water. We're trying to get hydrated over here on this channel. I hope to do a lot of other food videos in the future. Mikey and Drew, this one was for you. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I really appreciate if you guys like and subscribe. See ya!